Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this extraordinary meeting. It may look like a short agenda, but it's a very, very technical agenda and will take time. I've had a word with Peter Skerfield, Chairman of Planning and Estates, and we've agreed that the Planning and Estates meeting will start at 7:30. So we will conclude business by 7:25, so people have a chance to either leave the chamber or whatever. My chaplain is not able to make it this evening, but I would ask you to please stand, as it is 1 year ago today that our colleague Alan Booth passed away. In memory of Alan Booth, a former mayor of this council and a respected businessman within the community, I ask you to just bow your head for a few moments in reflection of Councillor ex-mayor Alan Booth. Thank you. I've done one. Apologies for absence.
We've had apologies from Councillor Brotherton, Councillor Nishigaki, Councillor Raphael, Councillor Baxter, and Councillor Cavalier.
Thank you. I'm going to move on now to questions from the public, because we will later be going into private session, meaning obviously that members of the public will not be allowed to be in the chamber. But as one of the agenda items involves a member of the public, I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak now if you so wish. Chloe.
So we're looking at taking over the market from Dave. We're buying them out.
Could you stand please so we can...
So Bradley will be taking over Dave's part of the business. So we're just looking at redoing the contract for the market. We're looking to maybe do some things in the market square once a month and just try and grow the market really, because we've lost our fishmonger, so we're just trying to regrow it. If there's any questions then...
Yeah, so you're buying Dave out?
Yes. So
of his contract with...
No, so it's Bluebell, we own Bluebell Events, which is
right,
an events company.
Okay.
So you bought Bluebell off him?
Yes.
Effectively, I see. Okay. Can I ask what experience you've had in market operating?
So I ran the market for 4 years. We also run Droitwich Market, and we did craft fairs before that.
So you've run the market before Dave?
Yeah, so I've run it with Dave. I was his business partner.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Understand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Some while ago, I have to say, there was a gentleman at the market who was selling all sorts of different things, and one of them was hats, like beanie hats, and it had F off on the front, but with real letters.
Yeah.
Will you ensure there's nothing like that ever going to happen again? Nothing offensive to people?
Yeah, so there's a new code of practice going out that all traders have got to sign and give back to us that that's all in the offensive language.
Right, okay. Can I just follow on with one more? In the contract says 45 weeks. Is that a week, or is that 315 days, or is it a day here and there within 45?
So it's every Tuesday and every Saturday. But we have to give up 7 days to council if they want to use it for other things. So it is normally 52 weeks, but if there are dates that the council want, then we have 45.
Okay, so you guarantee the 45, but you might do a few more?
Yeah, if we can get more in, yeah.
Smashing. All right, lovely, thank you very much. Yeah. That's all I have.
One of the things that I want to be careful of at this juncture is we will be coming on to the meat and substance of this particular agenda item being number 4. But obviously, because it involves Chloe, That's why I've given you the opportunity to speak now. It's not a question and answer directly within the meat, if you like, of the contract itself or of the arrangements. This is just giving Chloe the opportunity to address you as councillors. We will come to the what you might call the nuts and bolts of the arrangement, the contract, etc. As an agenda item, and obviously because that's going to be in private session, you're not going to be permitted to be in here. So if there are questions, general questions, that don't relate, if you like, to the agenda item per se, then obviously you have the time to ask those questions now. Otherwise, if it relates to the contract, etc., it has to wait until we come into private session and the agenda items specifically. Deputy Mayor.
Just two questions, please, Chloe. One is, do all your market traders, I know you've got in the contract, it says, or Bluebell events, have an insurance policy. Do each of the traders belong to National Market Traders Federation or something like that, that they've got their own insurance as well?
They all have to have their own public liability insurance.
They all have to have their own, yeah. And when you say you bought Dave out, so Bluebell events do other events besides Evesham.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're you're taking over all those, and Dave's backing out of it altogether.
Yeah.
So you're buying him out of all the contracts. But do you know this contract is not not for sale?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're buying
I mean,
nice assets and things we're buying, so the assets that we own as a company we're buying out from them.
Yeah, but that doesn't include the
No.
market rights
No.
for Evesham because they're non-negotiable.
Yes.
You understand that? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, thank you. In that case, I'll move on to agenda item 2. Oh, sorry, my apologies. I thought you were all together. I wasn't aware of that. Okay, would you like to say who you are and your question to council, please?
Okay, thank you. So my name's Nina Black. I've lived in Evesham for about 40 years, and I also run a coffee shop on the outskirts. I think Evesham's a great place to live and work, and I promote it whenever I can to my colleagues and people that come in my cafe. I am aware of the issues with the parking and the town hall and the bigger issue around the shopping centre. However, one of the first things that you notice as you drive into Evesham is the market square and the town hall clock, which has not been working for a number of years. What I want to try and ascertain is who is responsible for maintaining the clock and what are the plans to get the clock fixed or turned back on. As I said, I am aware of the bigger issues regarding the town hall and the shopping centre, but I feel that if we could get the clock working again, it would be a quick win in terms of public support. As I said, the market square is a prime focus point when you come in, and it's becoming busier with the businesses and the cafes. It's a very vibrant place, it's a community hub, it's a nice place to visit in the evening and during the day. But again, when you're sitting in the square and you're looking at a clock that's stuck on 12 o'clock and has been for a number of years, it's quite disappointing. So I just want to understand what the project is for getting the clock fixed. As I say, I'm aware of the wider issues, and if there's anything that the public can do to help achieve this. I just think it's a small thing that causes a lot of there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of very disgruntled. I mean, I don't know whether you follow Spotted in Evesham on Facebook, which I'm not a fan of, but if I can just quote something that was put on Facebook about the town, it said, "Come on folks, this is Evesham Town Council we're talking about here. They haven't fixed the town hall clock, it's been broken for 10 years. Does anybody actually trust them to get decent lights? It's pathetic and embarrassing." And I certainly don't endorse that, but I'm just saying there's a lot of very angry public about something that they don't know anything about. So it would be good to get some comms and engagement around what the issue is, if it can be fixed, when it can be fixed, rather than people just just bad mouthing and not actually having the correct information. Thank you.
I can reply on the clock. I have got a report in front of me from the 9th of August, which is from Time Assured, who are the company that look after our clocks and some of the church clocks as well in town. They do the servicing and the repairs for them. And on the 9th of August in this report, it says, during our recent annual service visit, we identified a potential safety issue regarding the two weights that power the clock. The weights are attached to wooden beams, and both beams have suffered a structural failure. The beam holding the strike pulley considerably worse than the other. With this in mind, we have lowered both weights to remove the risk of a more significant failure. We recommend that the beams are inspected by specialists to assess the damage and recommend a suitable repair. So that was when the clock was switched off, the 9th of August 24. Now I understand that people don't necessarily know when it worked again, and they may speculate as to how long it's been off, but that was when we switched it off, and that's when they set it to noon. Now, in the interim, we have done a condition report on the hall to try and find out exactly what was wrong with it. It's not a quick fix to fix the structural beam though, and that's why it's taken this amount of time. The clock is fine, the clock works, but because it's a manual system with weights that go up and down, we've had to disconnect it so that it doesn't fall. If the beam breaks, the weight will fall. And that's why it's been off for this length of time. That's why it's not quite easy when it might seem at first glance.
Is it possible to replace the beam then without the further work that's required in the town hall?
Well, I don't know. We're having those discussions now. We've had a report done. They put together a schedule. They're writing a schedule of work at the moment in terms of its the priority, basically. I mean, you would have seen at the back of the hall that part of it started to fall, and that's because of water ingress around the clock tower. So we're working on that. You know, we've got structural engineer. Well, you know, here heritage consultant who's putting together a schedule of works, which will include that beam. But there's also other work to do first. We've got to make sure that we do bat surveys. We've started that. We've done a preliminary bat survey. We have to have dust emergence surveys done as well before we can get anything to the roof at all. They have to be carried out in a certain period in the summer. So we can only do those sorts of dust emergence surveys between May and August. We've already booked some, but obviously they can't start until May at the very absolute earliest. We've booked them already so that we can get in the beginning of the season. So once they've done all the dust emergence surveys and know what the situation with the bats is, then we need to get a licence, and then we can think about getting the work done. But that's why these things are never quick, and that's why it seems like nothing's happening. But actually doing an awful lot of work behind the scenes.
So it's not possible to turn the clock back on at the moment?
No, because it's run off the weights are too heavy. We have to put the weights back into the beam, and beam may fail. So it's the beam that's the problem. It's the water ingress that's caused the rot on the beam, and we've still got water ingress now. It's getting worse and worse.
Is it possible to put some communications out to the public?
Yes, I think that's a very good idea. That's a really good idea. It's a manage people's expectations.
Yeah, I did see the notice that was in front of the shopping centre about the general concerns around the precinct. But that's only one way of communicating. I don't know whether you use social media as a council. I don't necessarily think that's probably the best medium. But I get this through the post, the Witchaven news stories and services. And there was a little article in there, the last one I had, about about the restoration work going on at NatWest. And I thought that was quite a nice publication that presumably goes to all the households in the area that just sort of updated the work that was being done. And once you've got some sort of timescales. I also, my husband is a cabinet maker, and he has lots and lots of contacts in woodworking and historical repairs. He actually did work on St Paul's Cathedral many years ago. So if there's anything that we can do personally or we can garner public support for when the time comes, I'd be very keen to help with that.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any further comments? Okay, thank you very much indeed. Are there any further questions from members of the public? Okay, I'll move on then to declarations of pecuniary order interest in accordance with the Town Council's Code of Conduct, including request for dispensation. Do I see any? Okay, thank you. We now move on to agenda item 3, public bodies. In accordance with Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act, Local Government Access to Information Act 1985, Schedule 12A, Parts 1.1 and 4.14, public and press are therefore excluded from this part of the meeting. Item 4, Eastern Charter Market. Item 5, Town Hall. So, members of the public, I need to ask you to leave the chamber, please, and thank you for your attendance tonight. I'm going to do it now. Just need to wait for Councillor Andrew Dyke to return before we go into private session.
He said he was going to check the loos as well, just to make sure nobody's hiding.
Okay, for the next two agenda items, 4 and 5, we need to go into private session. I formally propose from the chair that we go into private session. Do I have a second? Right. Those in favour? Anybody against? Any abstentions? Thank you. We are now in private session for